Hello, it's me again. This one's going to be a long form just because it's a long poem. It's a slow poem. I'm not really good at these, so I hope you guys like it. It's on a very touchy subject, and no one likes to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it. I hope you guys like it. It's called Acceptable Poison. I live in a state of an inescapable loneliness while having a partner. I see him slaving day in and day out, yet can barely stand. He burns himself out day in and day out, yet the boss asks him to stay longer. The way I see his eyes, I don't see my husband. I see a broken child, yet we call it discipline. I beg him for just one day off, yet we give him the poison, an acceptable poison. He wakes up day in and day out, then comes back barely awake, yet we call it dedication. I call it erasure. The erasure of our physical relations. The way I cry myself to sleep each and every night for his warm embrace, yet society calls it noble. I fear each and every day that he goes to work and won't come back, yet society praises it and calls it heroic. Would we call it noble if it came in a syringe? I want my husband back. Please bring him back to me. They gave him fuel to light his fire, not his desire. Overtime becomes his cigarettes, one to live and another to forget. As I beg for intimacy, I see how he acts drunk when he walks through the door, when his lips haven't touched Jack, yet we call it victory. I call it torture. The more they take away, the more I crave. They take him away, but leave me cut and sliced. I crave his warmth around me, yet all I get is bitter cold. I crave his voice in my ears, but all I get is haunting buzzing of the lights. Unbearable routine tears me apart, yet the world calls it necessary. I call it prison. Would we call it acceptable if it was in a bottle? I hate this acceptable poison. Each and every day, he says hi to me, but I see the death in his eyes. Yet, I'm supposed to call it bravery. The way he holds my son, but not me, even with his dead body, it crushes me. Yet I'm supposed to call this the symptoms of success. I beg him just to take one day off. But he couldn't hear me, the phone ringing in his mind. Yet I'm supposed to praise this? I miss my husband, my daddy. But he's scrambled by this acceptable poison. Exhaustion tears his body to pieces that I stitched together, even when he can't stand. They call it admirable. I call it self-destruction. Would the world call it beauty if it came in a pill? The poison erodes me. He burns, the poison dripping through his veins. His skin pulsates, his muscles contract as he tries to hide his pain. Yet his direction is sealed day in and day out. Yet he's forced more poison and more poison. I see him limping from sitting, then standing all day. I grab an ice pack but get no hug. He said in a dead tone, "Thanks, babe." It crushes me. I plead for him to take one day off for me and the children. We want to see him. I want to see my baby. But he's taken away. My insides yearn for him, but they give nothing but cold space. I yearn for him more than anything, but I don't even get that. The painful routine is killing me. But I'm not going to give up. Not today, not yesterday, not ever. Losing it tears the family apart. He's physically there, but mentally nowhere. I stitch his mind with my hands each and every day, just for them to be torn up open again. They call it sacrifice. I call it execution. Would the world call it love if it was in a powdered line? I hate this acceptable poison. I hate the dealers of this acceptable poison. I watch him wake up. I follow him. He can't take this much longer before he overdoses from exhaustion. He's so tired, even if I wore a red suit, he'd never know. I'm following him. But I need to. I can't live with this anymore. Living like a side piece of an affair of destruction. The building fills my view. The depressing gray fills my vision. The only lights coming are from the street's lights. My heart races the closer I get to the depressing building. I watch my husband enter the building that requires a code, almost like a prison that takes home its occupants. I enter the building, him behind him, yet he never notices. The workers are all dead. Their eyes are filled with void, the void of ownership. But by the corporations. The corporations are the home wreckers. In a suit and tie, the drug dealers come into view. The man who stole my husband. I can't hide anymore. I raise my voice. You're the one who stole my husband from your late shifts. The man who took him away on an affair of destruction. You're the one who tore him apart for me to sew back together. You're the drug dealer who kidnapped my baby. You call it okay if he was addicted to a white line over the grind? Would you praise him if it came in the form of a bottle instead of in the form of quotas? Would you encourage him if it came in a metal syringe? No, you wouldn't. Then why do you encourage my baby to to be destroyed by your impossible quotas? I collapse from the anger, but my husband catches me. His eyes have a feeling I cannot quite recognize. Appreciation? No matter. I whisper. A whisper I barely caught. I'll take the week off. Yes, a week. I cry and I hug him. Hugging for the dealer for a dear long time. I don't care about the stairs. My love is back. Finally. Now, this ended in a happy ending, but not all relationships do. Workaholism is a big deal, and it destroys lives. Yes, even lives. There are thousands of people who commit suicide in Japan alone from the overwork, from the impossible quotas. There's thousands of relationships that end because a partner isn't at home because of the corporate ladder. Remember, your life is worth more than your paycheck, than your boss's demands. Remember that rest is important. This is probably one of the more important ones I will be doing, and I hope you guys liked it.